All right, so ready to jump into the world of digital startups. Today we're doing a deep dive on BuzzFeed.
Definitely a company with a lot of lessons for anyone who wants to build a business online.
They went from which Disney character are you quizzes
Oh, yeah, I remember those.
to winning journalism awards.
It's kind of wild when you think about it.
How'd they do it? We're breaking down their whole journey.
The good and the bad, because even the best companies make mistakes.
So true, sometimes those mistakes are the best learning experiences.
For sure.
But let's rewind back to the beginning.
Okay.
BuzzFeed started back in 2006.
Back when the internet was a totally different place.
Like ancient history, right?
Basically, the dinosaurs roamed the internet back then.
Uh-huh, yeah. But even back then, BuzzFeed was onto something big. Shareability.
Oh, absolutely.
Quizzes, listicles, they spread like wildfire.
They just got what made people click that share button.
They did. It's true.
Things that make you laugh or feel nostalgic. Even those quizzes that make you think, huh, maybe I am like that.
Like that quiz, what city should you actually live in?
Yes. Everyone was sharing their results.
It was inescapable.
Exactly. BuzzFeed was smart. They knew that making good content wasn't enough. You got to make it easy to share, too.
They basically invented social media marketing before it was a thing.
They were ahead of the curve, for sure.
Yeah.
But it wasn't just luck. They were data nerds from day one.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, they were analyzing everything, figuring out what worked and what didn't. They really understood their audience.
So they created shareable content and then used data to make it even better. Pretty smart.
Super smart.
Yeah.
But here's where it gets really interesting. They didn't just want to be a media company.
They wanted to branch out.
Exactly. They knew they had to diversify.
Makes sense, especially online where things change so fast.
All about having those different income streams.
So they launched their own online stores, right?
Yep, selling everything from those weird kitchen gadgets you see on those recipe videos.
To their own branded stuff.
Exactly. And don't forget about their branded content deals.
Oh, yeah, they partnered with some huge companies.
They were making sponsored content that didn't feel like advertising at all. It felt natural.
They were so good at integrating it all. It's like they had a safety net under their business.
Exactly. If you rely on just one way to make money,
Yeah.
like just ads, you're in trouble if things change.
That's true.
Multiple income streams, that's how you stay stable. It's like they built a bunch of backup generators just in case.
Smart. So they were already branching out, but they were also ahead of the curve on all the new internet trends.
Oh, for sure. They were like the cool kids in school, always the first to try the new thing.
Like, remember when interactive content became a thing? Choose your own adventure articles, those kinds of things?
Yeah, they were all over that.
BuzzFeed was all over it.
They were early adopters of video content, too.
Yeah.
Especially those quick videos, perfect for Facebook or YouTube.
Oh, yeah, their tasty recipe videos. Those were everywhere.
Exactly. Super shareable, and people loved them. They knew how to adapt to what people wanted.
Speaking of adapting, let's talk about BuzzFeed News. Remember when they launched that?
They went from quizzes and listicles to serious news. It was a big change.
It totally was. I remember thinking BuzzFeed is doing actual journalism.
It was a bold move.
Yeah,
But they hired some really talented journalists.
they did. And they ended up winning a Pulitzer Prize for their reporting on the treatment of Uyghur Muslims in China.
Which is a really big deal. It shows they were willing to invest in quality,
Yeah.
even if it meant changing their image.
That took guts. It's like they were saying, we're more than just quizzes. We can do serious stuff too.
Absolutely. But it's also important to remember that BuzzFeed's had their share of challenges, too.
Oh, yeah, every company does, right?
One of their biggest challenges was actually their early success.
How so?
They grew really quickly, which is amazing, but it's not always sustainable.
It's like they were sprinting a marathon. They couldn't keep up that pace forever.
Exactly. They had to make some tough choices, like laying off some employees.
That's always hard.
It is. And then there's their reliance on social media.
Oh, yeah. They were hit hard when Facebook changed its algorithm.
That was a turning point for a lot of online businesses. They realized they couldn't rely on Facebook forever.
It showed how important it is to have your own platform to connect with your audience directly.
Exactly. You don't want to be at the mercy of some algorithm you can't control.
So true. So we've talked about their successes and their challenges. What's the biggest lesson we can learn from BuzzFeed?
I think it's the importance of staying true to who you are, what your brand stands for.
Yeah, they kind of lost sight of that for a while, didn't they? Trying to do everything at once. It's tough to be everything to everyone. They were spread kind of thin.
Yeah, it's like they were trying to catch every butterfly in the garden instead of focusing on a few beautiful flowers.
Okay, I like that analogy. So after this deep dive, what are the big takeaways for someone like me who wants to build something online?
I think the biggest one is you got to know who you're talking to and create stuff they actually care about.
Make them feel something.
Exactly. And then there's diversification.
Hmm.
BuzzFeed was smart because they had their fingers in a lot of pies.
They weren't just doing one thing or relying on one platform.
Right. They were always trying new stuff, adapting. And they didn't put all their eggs in one basket when it came to making money either. Remember, branded content, e-commerce?
They were all over it. And that whole thing with Facebook's algorithm really showed how important it is to build your own audience somewhere you have more control.
100%. Email lists, communities, even podcasts. It's about having a direct line to the people who actually care about what you're doing.
So you're not at the whim of some algorithm.
Exactly. And lastly, I think BuzzFeed's story shows us that it's okay to experiment, to try new things.
Don't be afraid to break stuff.
Wait, maybe not break stuff. But you know what I mean? Don't be afraid to take risks to be different.
The internet's always changing, so you got to be ready to change with it.
Exactly. BuzzFeed, they weren't afraid to shake things up, to push the boundaries.
And yeah, they didn't always get it right, but they learned from it and they kept moving forward.
That's the key takeaway right there.
Yeah.
Never stop learning, never stop adapting.
And that is a wrap on our BuzzFeed deep dive. From quizzes to serious journalism, they definitely left their mark on the internet.
And I think their story's got a lot of valuable lessons for anyone who wants to make it in the digital world.
Absolutely. So until next time, keep experimenting, keep learning, and keep creating.